Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dehydrate some paprika peppers that I grew in the garden over the summertime. And what I did was I threw them in a bag and I put them in the freezer because I didn't have time to process them at the time. But these are the ones that we're going to be dehydrated. It's a mixture of, I think, a couple of Irish peppers in there. But these right here, they're pretty hot. So it's going to be a spicy, sweet, spicy paprika. And you can see they're hard. They are hard. So we're going to get these in the oven at 170 degrees. And this is what I made yesterday. It took me about 2 days, I want to say, to get it all dehydrated. So we're going to put them in the oven now on 170 degrees and get them started. And we're just going to close this up, and I'll bring you back in a couple days or whenever they're done dehydrated, and we'll make our paprika powder. Okay, so I got the paprika peppers out of the oven. It took about, I want to say a day to get it all dried out in the oven. So we're going to go ahead and start popping these, breaking them in half and getting the seeds out. Just open the seeds out, put them in the thing. Some seeds might stay in there, and that's fine. Just know that if some seeds stay in there, it's going to be a little spicier. I'm sorry, that's my oven going off for my bread that I got going. And we're gonna, once these are done, I'm gonna put in some onions in the oven and get those dehydrated as well. So see how that came out so crispy? So if you like a spicier paprika, keep the seeds in by all means. I don't mind it being a little spicy, but I don't want it overbearingly hot. And if you don't have peppers from your garden, go to the grocery store and they have these peppers already dried for you, and make your paprika peppers out of that. But this is a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and watch me crack all these. So I'm gonna get these done, and then I'll bring you back when you're all finished, and I'll show you my next step. Okay, so I got all those cracked up, and this is what it looks like. This is what we have. And just to let you all know, the reason why I didn't stem it and take the seeds out first is because when I grew them and I harvested them, I didn't have time to do everything at the, at that moment. So I froze them. And when I froze them, of course, I couldn't go back and take the seeds and stuff out. So I just dehydrated them with the seeds in it. But next time around, if I have the time, what I'll do is once I harvest them, then I'll take the stem off and then de-seed them and then dehydrate. So then that way I just have to put it into the Vitamix, my mixer to get it done. So let's get this, it's going to get counted out. So I'm going to bring you back after I'm done blending this up. Okay, so I got it all blended up. And guys, this is really strong. Excuse me. This powder is really strong. So this is what we have. See, and I already did some prior to this video, so I'm just going to add that into here. And even with them being dry, and I did this, I dried them the other day, as I was breaking them off, it was still making me cough because the stuff is so potent. Ooh. But it's worth it. So there you have it. Excuse me, your homemade paprika. And then now next we're gonna do the, what did I say, y'all? Oh, the onions. We're gonna make the onion powder. So I'm gonna get my vitamins and everything all cleaned up and get the onions cut up. I'll come back and and we'll get the onions cut up and see how long it takes for them to dry. Okay, I got the onions, excuse me, I got the onions washed. We're gonna save the skins for when we make some chicken broth. I got the oven heating up at 170. That's the lowest my oven goes. So I'm gonna have to keep the door a little cracked here and there so it won't get too hot. I don't have a dehydrator right now, obviously, if I'm doing this in the oven. But it is what it is. We're gonna get it done. The skins that I'm saving, I throw them in the freezer and I just add to it as I go. I even have, well, not in this bag, but the bag that I have in the freezer out in my garage. I have bell peppers in there as well. I got a celery that I need to get cut up because that might end up going bad on me again. Going bad on me soon. So I'm gonna add that to my little vegetable bag so I can add that to my stocks. Now I know I'm gonna be crying because these onions are getting me already. These are not from my garden. I didn't grow onions in my garden, but these are just regular onions that I got from Aldi, and I want to roast them. I'm sorry, not roast them. Dehydrate them to make onion powder. Oh, this one wants to be a butthead. Don't want to come off. Okay, well, we'll get to you. Do any of you all out there buy your vegetables and then dehydrate them to make your own seasonings? Let me know down in the comments if you do that or not. I just recently started doing this not too long ago, and I love it because I was making some chili one day, and I just happened just to look at the ingredients in the chili powder, and it was just, to me, just unnecessary stuff. And I'm tired of feeding my family unnecessary stuff. Now, am I going to do this all the time, every time I need onion powder? Am I going to buy it? I'm sure I'm probably going to still buy it every now and then, but I don't want to have to do it as much. Because I can't do produce everything, but things that I can, I will. So we're just gonna slice these onions up in small slices, like so. As thin as possible. Now these shouldn't take nearly as long as the peppers did. Because first of all, they're not frozen. Second of all, they're thin slices. So this should really, if I put this in now, what time is it now? I don't even know what time it is. I would say before I go to bed, this should be done. So again, I'm not going to bore you all with me cutting up onions. I'll bring you all back when I got them on the pan and get ready to put them in the oven. So I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, we got all the onions and everything cut up. And you see how thin I got that? They're not really that thick at all. So we're just going to kind of lay them all over the place. Sometime next week, we're going to get in the kitchen again, and I'm going to do some freezer breakfast meals for my family, especially for my baby son. Well, he's not a baby. The boy about to be, man about to be 20 years old. I still call him my baby son, but he'll always be my baby son. My oldest son gonna be my baby son. But anyway, I'm going to be making some freezer meals for him so that he can have breakfast and not have to worry about getting anything out or cooking himself. Excuse the sniffles. These onions got me crying and sniffing. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm gonna get that prepared for him and make a few things for my husband as well. He doesn't eat too much like waffles and stuff like that anymore. Just on not special occasions, but every now and then when he feels like it. He mainly likes egg wraps. So I'm gonna make him some of those and get those in the freezer. And as for my son, we're gonna do we're gonna make some English muffins from scratch together. This is a recipe that I use from a young lady. I think her name is Bria. I have to I'll find out her name and link her video or her name down below when we get ready to do it. So yeah, I know these are overlapping, and that's is fine because I'm gonna spread them out as they cook down. Ooh, y'all, these onions are strong. But do you all do freezer meals as well? And if you do, let me know what you like. What do you make? Give me some ideas. I've done a couple breakfast freezer meals for my son before, and he enjoyed it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do waffles. We're going to do sausage, egg, and cheese on McMuffins. Sausage, egg, and cheese on. Um, we're going to make dinner rolls to make breakfast sliders, and we're going to do tortillas to make breakfast burritos. So this is it right here with this. I'm going to get this in my oven. Like I told you, my oven is preheated on 170. That is the lowest my oven goes. So I'm going to have to open it up from time to time to let some of that air out so it doesn't, get too hot or start to burn or anything like that. So we'll be back in a little bit when it gets, well, not a little bit, it's going to be a little while. But we'll be back when it's time to powder them up and get them in our container. I want to show you all real quick what I'm doing with this old celery that I need. I washed it off already. And I'm just throw it in this bag with my onions. I told you I have another a few more bags out in the garage. And I just add to it every time I have extra vegetables left over, basically. And then we'll make some chicken stock soon, and we'll pull this out to go with that. And then when I make my chicken stock, I roast my chickens, and I put this in, and we make the broth, and it's so good. So we're going to do that one day soon too. Okay, guys, we got this finished. It's the next day, and it took about, I think we put these in the oven, I want to say like 11 o'clock. And before I went to bed last night, around about 7 o'clock. They were basically done, but I left them in the oven with the light on for them to get even more crisp. So this is what we have. Remember what we started off with. See how crispy that is? So now we're gonna just put it in the Vitamix and get it all ground up. This is what you have. Can you see that? Yep. And you can do it as coarse, as fine as you want. I like mine a little bit coarse. Just a little bit. I don't like mine in the fine powder. And voila. Just like that, we have homemade onion powder. And it only took us a few hours. Well, more than a few hours, but you know what I mean. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you back in the next video.